Good morning. Um, wow, it's really light. I might shut some of these. Um, so we're here, and it's a really nice day. And my husband opened all the windows, and so it's really light in here. But there you go. So yeah, so we had class yesterday, which is pretty cool. It was fine. Wearing the mask, the whole class was uh, not great, but I think it's something you can get used to. I haven't had to wear the mask, for a extended period of time, just because I've been lucky enough to work from home for the jobs I do. So just when I've been out, but you know, it was fine. We had two people come, and that was fun, and yeah, it was a good start. So we were in the same room as before. They had the divider open, so it's a really big room now. I don't know if they're going to continue. Good morning, Sue, and good morning, Ruth. Ruth was there, um, and yeah. So I don't know if we're going to continue to have the jumbo room or just half the room. It just depends, I guess, uh, if there's other classes going on or whatnot. But it was fine, and all of our stuff is still there. So I found our curtains and everything. We had to hunt for some of this stuff, the panels and stuff, but that was fine. And I brought Tulsi plants and gave some to uh, the people who had come and the ladies at the front desk. So Audrey is a new director. She's very nice, and Rebecca is, I think she maybe goes by Becky though, um, is the lady at the reception desk, and she's also very nice. Um, and I believe Sean will be coming back. Jan retired, but Sean will be coming back eventually. I think she's on leave right now, but that's that's the story that I had to tell you about Garfield Park. Um, it's pretty quiet there. There's not a lot going on, but Audrey said they are going to start all the regular classes that they've had before. So I guess they're just getting going with that. They're starting in September. Um, Also, we went out to take a look at the garden that they have there. They have a little garden in the corner by the parking lot that's looking kind of rough. And I guess Rebecca at the front desk is kind of interested in gardening as well. So I think that she and I are going to collaborate and get a little something going on with the garden there, um, which you're welcome to participate in if you're interested in that sort of thing. And we'll see if we can grow something good um, for everybody. We're gonna clean it up when I come back from vacation, and I'll put down some winter crop, maybe kale or something like that, something that should grow over the winter, unless we have a really cold winter, right? If we have a regular mild winter, we might get a good few months of growing time before it really gets cold in, say, December, January. We'll give it a try. It's just a pack of seeds. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But um, fall is actually, especially around here, is a great time to try growing things because it isn't that cold, and there are some plants that really enjoy the cold much more than the real heat. And the other benefit about the fall is, of course, you get a lot more rain than you do usually in late summer. Although, yeah, everything changes, right? This summer, it feels like late summer was the only time we got rain. So we could get a very dry fall. There's no way to say. But uh, the garden back there has it has some raised beds, like four raised beds. It's got a rain barrel for watering, and it's got a compost bin. So it's a nice little self-contained unit. And I'd seen it before, but I didn't know if someone was taking care of it or doing anything with it. But it looks like not right now. So we're going to see if we can do that. So that's exciting. And yes, so we'll be back there again 2 Thursdays from now. So not next Thursday, but the Thursday after. And I'll be on vacation before then. So I would definitely come back if you get a chance. Um, it was very nice to be back in the room, I think. Um, yeah, I had music, which is cool because we don't normally have that now. Um, and that was nice. I'd forgotten how nice it is to have music when you're practicing. So, all right. So what should we talk about? Well, I can talk a minute about the garden. So when we were looking at the garden, we saw a lot of things had really taken over and were growing over. And we were talking about how, um, you get like these pests in the garden, right? Um, Bugs and worms and things like that. And that it's frustrating, right? Because they're eating your hard work, all of your hard effort. Um, but I think of that a lot, like I do our practice. So the growing of the garden is of value in and of itself, right? That practice of cultivating a living uh, a living soul, right? A living being or entity of some sort in the form of a plant. Um, we can't protect that from everything, just like we can't protect our children from everything. We can't protect ourselves from everything. There will be um, bugs and worms in your life, right? They're going to come around and they're going to take a bite, right? Um, so what do we do? Right? Are we so focused on the goal? Right? What is the goal? The goal in a garden is maybe a plant, or rather, maybe a fruit of a plant. Everyone gets real focused on the tomato, right? Oh my gosh, there's a worm in my tomato. Okay, but how does your plant look? Does your plant look pretty good? Okay, good. If we let things go, right, um, there is always this desire to put things on, right? To solve a problem, to put poison on your plants, to spray them, or to do different things. A lot of times these can cause more problems, different problems, right? We poison the soil, we poison ourselves. We have to be careful, right? When we take steps to break through this sort of process. Um, Nature has its own way of taking care of these problems, right? So if you watch and see what happens, yes, you plant the tomatoes and then the tomato worms come, right? The big hornworms or something. And you'll see them for a little bit. And then you see the wasps that come to take care of the hornworms, right? So you may lose some tomatoes, but you're also feeding the wasps and you are participating in a life cycle, in a cycle of um, that is very old and very ancient, right? It's been there forever before you were there, and it will be there forever when you are gone. Um, I always say plant more, plant way more than you need because the insects, the viruses, right? The different fungi and different things in the soil, um, you know, it happens, right? Things don't always make it. It's not unlike, right, how it is in the world, right? I mean, some, people who are not well sometimes get sick and die. I mean, plants are the same way. They aren't always going to be perfectly healthy. Sometimes there's something fundamentally wrong with that plant. Sometimes it's just a combination of things, and we will never really know, right? Um, People tend to take that very personally, right? Like, what did I do? Why did my plants die? Well, I don't know. Well, maybe you didn't do anything wrong. Maybe it's just the plant was not going to make it. So rather than get real worried about that, plant more, and and understand that there's going to be a certain amount of loss. Um, and it's funny, right? When you get into these different things that you're doing in your life, you understand what people who do this all the time have always understood, right? So a farmer knows you always plant a bit more, and you always expect to have some loss. A gardener doesn't really know that, and they're devastated, when one of their plants dies. Um, Someone who keeps chickens and has grows eggs, right? They know, right? Your chickens are going to have problems. There's a certain amount of them are going to get sick. A certain amount will um, experience some problem during laying. A certain amount of them will just never lay, right? I mean, there are variations. They're not machines. They are organic beings. So you expect it, and you aren't surprised when it happens. But if you keep a few chickens in your backyard and one of them never lays, you think you've done something wrong, right? So we personalize something that shouldn't be personalized, simply because we don't have the bigger picture. When I started out with my sort of carpentry construction thing on the house, I worried so much every time I made a bad cut, every time I wasted a piece of wood. Um, I was anxious and worried and upset, right? Oh, what did I do, right? But then when you get doing it a lot, or you see what contractors are doing, you realize that um, that happens, right? That is the price of doing business. It You're not ever going to do everything perfectly. There are going to be mistakes. So now I have a stack of wood, right? And which is what contractors do, right? They end up with a stack of offcuts, extras. They bought a little too much because they knew there was some waste, but they have extra. So I have a stack of wood, and then when I have a project, I go and pick through it, see what I can find. Um, think about the things in your life that way. Um, Professionals know this, and we should know this too. That it's all um, it's all imperfect, right? What a great lesson. It's all imperfect. And to try to make it perfect is to uh, struggle needlessly. You will never make it perfect. No matter how much insecticide you pour on your garden, no matter how many times you measure, no matter how carefully you take care of your chickens or your pets, there are going to be problems. No matter how much you love your children and care for them and try to make their life perfect, um, there are going to be problems. Um, so just get comfortable with that. Accept it. And again, we work on problem solving. If you want to put your effort and your time into something, make it problem solving. Um, what do you do next? What's the next plan? Um, and that's a great place. We can be putting our yoga tools into play, right? Helping us, make a step in a yogic way, right? It's not. It's certainly not yogic to poison the soil. It's not yogic to waste a lot of resources, but also not yogic to expect perfection of ourselves. Um, it's yogic to care and attend to your responsibilities, but not yogic to allow them to eat you alive, right, with worry or concern. So finding that balance, as always. Right? Okay, let's do some asana. So we're sitting up tall, relaxed. Through the shoulder and neck. Steady breath. Drop the chin. Coming back up. Keep lifting. Back to center. Take a breath. And then lowering the head to the right. Back up. And then moving left. And back up. Walk the hands out in front. And then hands behind. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. And back up. Bring the soles of the feet together. Take a deep breath and lean forward. Back up. Both legs in front. Let's point and flex the feet. And well, I didn't even say rotating, but maybe you saw I was rotating. So do a little rotation one way and then the other. Just loosening up through the ankles. Bend that right knee. We'll sit tall here. Shoulders back. And then lowering that knee. Sit tall and fold forward. Back up. We'll switch around. And then lower that knee. Deep breath and fold. Back up, both legs in front. Take a breath and fold. Coming back up, left hand on right knee, right arm behind. Sit tall and twist. And then again, twist. Back to center. Let's bend the knees. Catch a hold of the toes or tops of the feet. Balancing. And then some extension. Back down. Let's come to tabletop. And we'll do a few sets of cat-cow. Lowering the belly, lift the head. Inhale, exhale, draw the belly in, press down. And back to just that neutral spine. Sit back on the heels. coming back up. We're going to walk the hands a little further out and then lower down. Let's keep the hands kind of where they are for Cobra. So we're squeezing back, the shoulders, the elbows come close. Tops of the feet rest on the mat. And then we're lifting up, head and chest. Hover the hands. Lower down, we'll turn head to the right. Bring your head back to center. We've got arms extended by your side. Flip the palms. Lifting up. Head and chest, arms and legs. And lower down. Head turns left. Head back to center. We're going to roll up onto one side. So we're just kind of balancing here on the side. Bend the top knee. Lift the leg. You can, grab a hold of whatever you can reach here. Stretch and balance. If you feel unsteady, bend that bottom knee and bring the leg behind you a little bit so that you have a little, support, right? And then release that. And we're going to roll again onto the other side. Finding your balance here. And then bend the knee, setting back down. We'll scoot over so we're back on the mat. Take a few minutes, or moments really, to sit and be steady. And then we're going to do a regular bridge and a supported bridge. Okay, so heels back, close to the body. Feet are about hip width apart. Hands by your side, pressing down to lift up with the body. And then we're lowering back down. Take a breath here. And then if you got a block, you can set it under. If you don't have a block, you can just do another regular bridge if you want. Or you could use anything, right? You could use a pillow. Pillow might not be as supportive as you want, but you could use some books. I've been known to do that. If you have like a bolster, a yoga bolster, those are great. They're kind of like a pillow, but firmer. And they come in a variety of different shapes, squares and rectangles and like cylinders. If you want to bring in the knees or extend the legs, you can. And then press the feet back down. Remove the block. Bring soles of the feet together, knees apart. Take some breaths here. Try to be very relaxed with the body. Just let everything settle. And then bring these together. Let's hug them in. Move side to side if that's good for you. And then we're lowering both knees to the right. And both knees to the left. Back to center. Extend the legs. And then lowering. Relax. Breathe. And we're moving into Shavasana. So in all things, we are perfectly imperfect. Um, our imperfection is exactly what it's meant to be. We aren't doing anything wrong when we do something wrong. We are learning, we are growing. If we can extend this kindness and this understanding to ourselves, then we're going to have a better chance of doing it with others. Um, Kindness, love, compassion, it all starts within. Um, if you can be less critical of yourself, less rigid in your expectations, you're going to be able to do that with others as well. Your compassion and your understanding will grow. Um, I know, for example, when I didn't understand much about building and construction and carpentry, I was very critical and very angry, right? If things didn't get done, or my contractor didn't show up, or something was not done the way I wanted it to. Um, Now I understand what goes into that. I understand how easy sometimes it is, and how hard it can be, and how uncertain it can be. Um, so the more we do, the more we understand, the more we understand what other people are going through. We understand the difficulties that they face. Um, that's why, hopefully, right, as we reach an older age, we have experience, we have empathy for the people who have gone through the difficult experiences that we have gone through. When you're a kid, and not to say kids can't have empathy, they absolutely can, but um, at some point, when children tend to have a great deal of empathy, but at some point, they kind of shut that down, right? When you get to be a teenager, you start uh, really holding people to a higher standard. You start judging, right? You start looking at what you've been taught compared to how the world is, and you come up a little short. And teens can get very upset about that, very, very angry. Let's say angry, because things are not what they thought they were when they were kids, right? Maybe what they were taught. Um, there's not all there are not always our parents open and upfront with their kids. Not always are teachers open and upfront with their students. Um, the state of the world is often a different thing than what we've been taught. So that split can be hard to get used to. Um, and then when you're in your 20s or whatever, I don't know, maybe late teens, you think you have it all figured out. You think you know how it works. And you look at people who are in bad states, who have lost everything, who are in bad state financially or physically or whatever, and it's very easy to judge, to say, oh well, you should have just done this, right? So simple when you're a teen, or early 20s, right? And it's not until we have some life experience, and um, we are trying to make our way in this adult world on our own, we understand how hard it can be, the challenges, the temptations, um, our own weakness and our own strengths. So hopefully, by the time we get to a mature age, we have sympathy for those who have not been able to step up to the challenge in the way that maybe we hopefully have. Um, Not everybody is equipped with your gifts. Not everybody is as strong as you. Not everybody has the resources and support structure that you have. We all um, are working on a uneven playing field, for sure. Does that mean we're doomed to fail? No. Does that mean any one person or group of people are doomed to fail? Absolutely not. But it means we may have to work harder. Um, we may have to have something within us which is stronger than someone who has fewer obstacles, right? But we all know people who look like they have everything. They were born wealthy, in a good family, with plenty of food and shelter, all the things they need. Like those things weren't even a question, right? Good education, lots of opportunities, maybe, got a job with a family company. I mean, like literally their life is just a carpet that's been rolled out for them and they just walk down it. Well, I mean, some of those people have the hardest time in life, the hardest time. Um, they're, living someone else's life, right? They're living a life that was given to them instead of a life they earned themselves. So don't assume anything. uh, what you see is not necessarily what's going on. So let us tend our own garden and let other people do the same. And have sympathy for us all in this very human condition that we go through, each and every one of us. And understand that each of us have the power to make these decisions for ourselves, but we also have the power to make things easier for others, um, to reach a hand out and give some support or some information or maybe some resources to someone who is in need. Um, we all know this, right? We've all met people like this who are doing remarkable things with almost nothing, um, simply because they have decided that they will. And when you find people like that, see what you can do to help them. Um, they will make good use of that. They will make the best use of that, and that's really what we're here for, to help one another. When you're ready, moving then a bit, come on back up to a seat if you're ready, or you could stay on the mat because we are going to do some meditation. Hands together for a deep breath in and a slow breath out. Thank you for taking some time for yoga and for meeting me here on the mat. I hope that you have a very good Friday and weekend and week or so. Namaste. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so I forgot my symbols. So I just had to say, hey, meditation's over at class. I'm going to have to go out. See, I think I took a bunch of stuff out into the garage and then I kind of forgot that I did that. And I raided my yoga bag. I must have put some stuff there. I think these are my good ones. And I may bring these. I have some other ones too. I'll have to figure out which ones I've got. Symbols are a very personal thing. And unfortunately, there's no place really to buy them around here locally. Like you don't just go to your symbol store. So I've had to order some. And many times they just aren't good. They don't sound good. I don't like them. And I've had to send them back. I was lucky to be able to go to like a gem show in Maryland not that long ago, and they had someone selling singing bowls, and that was great symbols. I bought a couple that I really liked. But yeah, some things you just can't order on Amazon. Well, I mean you can, but you might not like what you get. So, all right, sitting tall, comfortable seating, relaxed, steady, and keeping that gentle focus. Breathe. Okay, coming back. Breath in and breath out. Hopefully that was a good meditation for you. So I'm gonna not teach this weekend because I have one last building project to take care of, I hope, before we go away. And then I'll be back. Let me think. So I'm going next week and I'll be back Monday. Geez, I don't know. Let me look at my calendar because I'm not obviously not prepared for any of this. So yeah, I'll be back the 13th, right? So, but I won't be back in time for class, so we're not having that class. But I'll be back the 14th, I think. So it'll be the 14th. We'll have class Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday class at Garfield Park. And I think right now my plan is to have class the days that we're not having class at Garfield, but um, we'll see. I may shorten that up depending on what's going on here, but we'll see. Everything is in flux as usual. All right, so enjoy your weekend, enjoy your week, enjoy this weather. Right, all of a sudden, fall is here. Um, that nice little space between summer and fall when it's warm but also cool. Nights are so pleasant. Have the windows open. Great. Love it. Love it. Pardon me. Okay, so enjoy.